Hey, how's it going? This is Andy, and today I've got something really awesome for you, okay? So, in this video is going to be a complete, awesome, valuable training that's coming your way, and so I really hope that you're ready for it. Have your coffee ready, have your notepad up and running, just so that you can get ready to write some really cool notes, okay? Because I really want you to get heaps out of this video, so just make sure that you have the proper mindset ready, get rid of all your distractions, close Facebook, tell your kids to go away if you really have to, in a nice way, of course, and just full on focus, okay? Because it's time to actually really get into the serious business of internet marketing, and what we're actually going to go into is selling t-shirts online, okay? And actually creating a whole business around it, all right? And as you're aware, as you may or may not be aware, Teespring is absolutely huge at the moment, okay? It's definitely have a really great, massive buzz going on, and there's real good reason behind it, because it's a really simple, structure, really easy to get into, and I'll pretty much walk you through the entire thing, okay? Because as I said, this is a Teespring mini course, and that's exactly what you'll get, a course. All right, so without further ado, let's just get straight into it, shall we? So, for those of you who don't know, what exactly is Teespring, and why is it, so big, and why should we actually bother about it? Well, for starters, it's a shirt selling website, okay? So, it's a website that pretty much deals with all of your distribution and storage and all that. You don't have to ever worry about on handling stuff. Teespring take care of all of it. They have really great support, okay? So it is like $1 million business, and they really strive on kind of helping their buyers kind of feel comfortable, right, and feel secured, okay? So that's another great factor about Teespring. There is no upfront costs, okay? And this is pretty much really easy to get started, because there's no overheads. You don't have to pay to kind of get started. It's completely free. And you don't have to worry about any of the stock and shipping, like I mentioned earlier before, okay? So it's the perfect place for affiliates, because, all you have to do is, go in there, create your own shirt design, and just sell it, right? So it's a really awesome place, and Teespring's done an excellent job at that. So how it actually works, or how the whole system flows, is you pretty much set up a campaign within Teespring, okay? And by setting up a campaign, I mean, having a shirt design ready, setting up your price, setting all this good stuff, and get it ready to go, okay? And then all you have to do is advertise a shirt, and then the shirt doesn't actually get made until you reach your goal, okay? So at first, you set your goal for, let's say, example, 5. You want to sell 5 shirts before it actually gets made. So what happens is customers are going to pre-order those shirts until you hit that goal. Once you've reached your goal, that's when your buyers will actually be charged, and then the shirts will get shipped, okay? At the end of your campaign, of course. So let's say you set a campaign of 1 week, and 10 customers decide to buy it, and you have a goal of 5, okay? So that's what they call a tip campaign, and then as soon as you reach the end of the week, your shirts will get shipped out. The shirts will get shipped out to your buyers, and you get paid. It's really that simple. I mean, there's nothing too confusing about it. It's quite straightforward as it is. And obviously, you get paid a commission for that shirt. So you're not getting paid for the full shirt, of course. Teespring needs to make money as well, but there's still a lot of profit to be made. So what you can actually expect from this video today, like I said, it's going to be awesome training. I'm going to show you how to come up with some pretty awesome design ideas. So even if you don't have any kind of design background, that's cool. And if you're kind of lacking in the right brain department, that's alright as well, because I want to show you how you can actually find these ideas, and how you can actually work around it. I want to show you how to find laser targeted audience, because that's extremely important, and that goes without saying, okay? So, I mean, with any kind of marketing, whether it's offline or online marketing, you need to be able to find out your audience, your market. And if you can't do that, then this kind of industry is probably not for you, alright? I mean, you can't expect to kind of advertise to people that don't even want to know about your product, okay? That it doesn't make any sense, and you're wasting a lot of money down the drain. So it's really important to be able to actually find those target audiences and really dial in. Okay. Next, I want to show you how to actually advertise on Facebook and why Facebook is such an awesome place to actually advertise for Teespring. And then eventually, how to make a killing from selling shirts. Okay, so I hope you're pumped, hope you're excited, because yeah, it's going to be quite intense. In saying that, as always, I like to really keep it simple. Okay, I mean, you'll hear all these kind of talk about how difficult it is, and so many people fail at it, and I don't know what to do, and then they hear all these kind of tips and strategies, and it can get quite confusing. All right, so I've broken it down to 6 steps, and that's really all you need to actually do. Okay, 6 simple steps, and yeah, and you don't have to kind of confuse yourself with it. All right, it's quite straightforward. Just follow the steps, and you'll start tipping. All right, so yeah, let's go through the steps real quickly. So you've got researching your target audience. As I said, that's extremely important, and that goes without saying. Design ideas, how to get some pretty cool ideas and work around that. Setting up your campaign, your Teespring campaign. Ad creation, which is also really important as well, and that's all done within Facebook. Assessing the data, so you have to be able to analyze the data and see, okay, is this working, is it not, and so on. And then lastly, it's just a verdict, all right? And that's where you actually decide, what do I do from here onwards, okay? So yeah, so that's as simple as it gets. 6 steps. Don't make it any harder than it is, because it really is just that. Okay, so yeah. So before I actually get into those steps, let's talk about the mindset of people buying shirts. Okay, so you really have to think about why do people buy shirts? Well, for starters, they have to be non-nudists, right? I mean, obviously, and I mean, plenty of us are non-nudists, so I mean, it's never a dying market. So I mean, you're always going to have people buying shirts, from now till forever, unless somehow the world decides that clothing is not important anymore, and everyone walks around naked. Then that's probably when the t-shirt market's actually going to die out. Or if global warming is going to somehow intensify, and it's so hot that no one wants to wear clothes anymore, then and then so be it. Okay, but besides that, other reasons why people actually buy shirts is to have some kind of sense of identity. Okay, so some people like to kind of walk around proud about where they're from, or what kind of occupation they have. Occupation's a huge one, by the way. They like to kind of really express what they do, so that's a sense of identity. You got passionate and fanatics, so that kind of goes hand on hand. So pretty much like sport fans, right? They're really passionate about their team, and they'll stand behind it no matter what. They'll even die for it, and so yeah, so those are that's a really good market to tap into. I mean, it's not only for sport as well. You can have plenty of other things like hobbies, or other interests as well that are really passionate. But if you can find a group that's like really love their stuff, and they'll actually wear a shirt to actually kind of announce it, that's where you've found a gold mine of a niche. Okay. Pride. So again, all of this kind of overlaps each other, but pride is kind of same with occupation. Again, they're really, like, let's say for example, nurses. All right, nurses are a really big niche, and look, and they're really prideful about what they do. They do save lives, and look, they put in a lot of effort as well. So they like to kind of wear it with the gold medal kind of thing. So that's a really good market as well. If you can find someone that's really prideful, and even sports teams can be quite prideful about what they do as well. So that's another reason why people would wear it. And humor as well. I mean, humor goes without saying. If you can do a humorous niche, or like make a niche and make a kind of a joke around that certain niche, that sells like hotcakes as well. Okay, so kind of like the picture with this couple in the picture here. I don't know if that's the recycling symbol. I mean, in Australia it's a triangle, but I mean that's close enough. And they could be very they could be, environmentalists. They really care about the environment, and so they're trying to kind of advocate, recycling, and so they put a shirt on. Okay, so something similar to that. All right. Whoop, yeah, okay, that sounds about right. So yeah, let's talk about the 6 steps. So the very first step, number 1, is probably the most important step. Okay, so it's targeting your audience, finding your target audience. Okay, and this should really be the very first thing that you do, because you actually need to find a market first before you actually tap into it. Otherwise, if you don't have a market, and let's say you create a really awesome idea, really awesome design, you still have to know, how you're going to target. If you can't advertise it, you won't be able to sell those shirts, right? It's simple as that. I mean, like, you can have the best design, but if it's really broad and generic, it's going to be really hard to make a profit from it. Like, for example, you can make a joke about something really generic, and it's not very niche. How are you actually going to target it? You can't actually target the whole world, right? Because then you'll be wasting a lot of money that people that aren't interested. So unless you can actually find a target audience first, that's when I should decide to actually create a design around it. Okay, so key questions to ask yourself are: is the niche evergreen? All right, and the reason for this is, if you want to build an actual tribe or following, or like a massive fan page, that's a really good idea to actually get you started. So I mean, that's evergreen. Evergreen is, a niche that it's never gonna die out. Okay, I mean, once you've been in the game long enough, you'll see all of these shirts about nurses and engineers, and that goes on, and those are what you call evergreen niches, because obviously the occupation nurse is never going to die out anytime soon, right? Or a certain sports team, right? That's never going to die out. That's an evergreen niche. So that's one way to actually finding a target audience. Trending, okay, trending is a big one as well. So obviously, what's happening, what's really hot right now, okay? Something that might be really hot for, next couple of weeks, and that would, and if you can build a shirt, create a shirt around that topic, they sell like hotcakes, okay? In saying that, it's a one-off thing though, so you can't really build a business off, one niche that's trending, just because, as soon as that trend is over, you're not going to sell any more shirts. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. Another question is to ask yourself is there an audience? So like I said previously, if you've got a really small audience, it's really hard to actually scale as well. So, if you find a niche that's really, really, really obscure, and it's tiny, like let's say, within the thousands, it's really hard to scale. Okay, so you got to think that, okay, maybe a really good sales conversion rate is 10%. Okay, and let's say you've got 1,000 audiences, the most you're ever going to sell is 100 shirts, and that's not a lot to actually go. I mean, it's good that if you can sell 100 shirts, that's good, but that's at optimum rates. Okay, that's a really high potential, and so you want to actually go for an audience that's a lot bigger, because you're not going to be able to target that exact 1,000 audiences. Okay, especially with a short time frame. So you want to make sure that you have a big enough audience so that you can actually scale and make a real good profit off it. Another thing is, can it be targeted on Facebook? Okay, so not every niche or not every interest can actually be targeted on Facebook. If it's something that's really, really obscure, Facebook's algorithm, the way it works is the target, the interest that you can actually target is only what's people that's been talking about within Facebook. Okay, if no one mentions about that specific topic or interest, it's not going to be available to target. Okay, and that goes with trending as well. So if, let's say, something was trending a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, and it died out. So a couple of weeks ago, you might be able to target on Facebook, but now that it's died out, that actual interest might be gone for good, and then you can't actually target on Facebook. Okay, a couple of weeks is a really short time frame, but like, let's say, a couple of months down the track, and you want to target that same interest, that might be gone, because that's how Facebook's algorithm works. So so you have to make sure that if you can target it, great. If you can't, then just move on. Okay, and then the last thing is online spenders. Okay, so there are certain age group or certain niches where they don't feel comfortable about spending online. Okay, and so it's really hard to actually sell shirts if you can't if they don't actually buy it. Okay, they could be really interested in your shirt, but just because they don't trust the internet, or they don't actually buy clothing online, you're gonna have a really hard time to actually get those sales. So where do you actually go about finding all this useful information? Well, I've got tools. Okay, there are plenty of tools out here. This is just a really small handful that you can actually use. But, obviously with the trends, Facebook trends and Google trends work wonders. You can find really cool hot topics that's really trending right now. And it's pretty much laid out all there for you. You've got fanpagelist.com, which gives you, the most, the really high talked about fan pages that are current. You got your Facebook graph search for evergreen niches. So if you're really struggling to come up with ideas, I'll show you a way where you can actually just type it in the graph search and you can find a whole bunch of ideas that you can choose from. And then to actually find out whether you can actually target them, that's where we actually head over to Audience Insight. Okay, so I'm just going to head over to my browser here, and I'll show you about a couple of these handful of tools. Okay, so here I am with Facebook. With the Facebook trends, if you look, this is just the homepage here, and if you look on the right hand side, you'll see trending. Okay, if you just click onto trending, you'll have a whole bunch of lists that you can actually choose from. And as you can see, the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park movie, the next installment is actually coming out soon. So obviously that's trending. And the fact that I actually live in Australia, some of these trends might be more localized. So some of like Australia. So this is Australian campaign. So we're having an election at the moment. So you'll see all these election campaigns up and running here. Obviously Australian tennis player, and so on. So it's gonna differ. So I'm at a real disadvantage here because it's a lot easier to sell shirts to the US because there's a lower shipping fee as there is to Australia. But not to say that I haven't done really well with Australian audience as well. But yeah, I mean I generally like to stick with American audience before I actually move over to any other kind of countries. Okay, so obviously with these trends, it kind of sucks for me because it's more about Australian trends. But I mean, if you're living in the US, it's a really great place to actually check out. Okay, and that's that. And then if you just let's say if we just click onto one of the trends, it's going to show you everything that's about it. Okay, so you got all these posts on the internet, on Facebook, talking about the actual trend itself. So that's Facebook Trends for you. Next, I want to show you Google Trends. Okay, Google Trends is pretty much what people are searching right as of now. Okay, what's really hot at the moment. And at the moment, I'm set to Australia. So if you're at any other country than the US, you can actually just click on the drop down arrow here, and just select the United States, and that's gonna pop up all the trends for United States. So obviously the Ferguson killing. So that's huge at the moment, and maybe if you want to tap into that, you can. But that's to me that's kind of unethical, and I probably won't go there. But if there are people out there that are really desperate that can do anything for kind of a sale. So there's that. So let's just say we want to click on trending searches. Now it's going to show you a list of all these trends that are obviously date related. Okay, so as you can see, there's been 5 million searches from that week. You got 500,000. You can see a whole bunch of things. So I mean, Dancing with Stars, that's probably a TV show. I'm not too sure what that's about. I mean, I don't really know anything about NFL or hockey for that matter because it's not really big in Australia. So there's that. And just really go through it, okay? And you can see really hot stuff that you can actually just kind of create your shirt around. So a lot of these are just brands or like news. So I mean that's a bit hard to actually work around. But if you actually click on the news itself, you can actually find controversial trends as well, and all other kind of sorts of things, okay? And so on. So I mean, as you can see, there's a huge list that you just keep going on and on and on. One thing to keep in mind is, and this is just really your common sense, to avoid using actual celebrity names and actual companies. So I wouldn't actually put WWE in there, or Ariana Grande. I wouldn't actually put her name on a shirt because that is copyright, and that is trademarked, and you might have that off chance that you might kind of lose all your profits and sales. Okay, and that goes the same with sport teams and even like franchises or movies, right? Like I wouldn't actually put any of their logo or their name in it. Be creative. You can use quotes or sayings or one-liners. That's fine. But just make sure that you do avoid doing anything that's copyrighted. So that's pretty much Google Trends for you. Okay. I want to show you graph search. Okay, I'm just close that. So up here is your Facebook graph search, and honestly, if you're really running out of ideas, this is an awesome place to actually come up with good ones. Okay, and it's honestly limitless. All right, you can never run out of niches to actually target. All right, there are millions and millions of different kind of niches out there, and it's just a matter of actually looking for it. Okay, and it can never really dry up. So a really great way to actually look for evergreen niches is just to type in interest. All right, interest on Facebook graph. All right, and then up here you'll see this. You just click on that, and it's gonna show you a whole bunch of interest. And honestly, you can just go on and look at it. So poker, maybe you can make a poker shirt, right? Movies, photographers. Honestly, the list goes on. All right, so I don't want to ever hear you say, "Oh man, I can't really find a really good niche to target, or I can't find any kind of good interests." Just look it up. I mean, there's thousands and thousands on here. You can actually, the list will honestly go on, and all you have to do is just look at one and kind of come up with a creative idea, and boom, you're in the money. Okay, so that's it there. So, like I said, a really great place to check it out, and yeah, really do so. Okay, so let's go back. Oh yeah, and audience insight, can't forget that. I mean, that's pretty much main key really here. So over here you've got audience insight. If you don't know how to actually get here, it's in your ads manager. Once you click on ads manager on the left side, you'll see audience insight. All right, and it'll take you here, and pretty much it tells you all the information, all the data that's collected by Facebook, all put in the one spot. Okay, so on the left side here's where you actually want to see if you can actually target your audience. All right, so at the moment under location, I'm only targeting the United States, and as you can see, there's 150 million to 200 million active users on Facebook right as of now. Right, and that's just a really broad search. So if you're trying to do a generic shirt and you want to kind of sell it to everyone, that's what you're targeting, right? And as you can see, you'll be wasting a lot of money, right? But the main thing I actually want to show you is interest here. So interest is pretty much like your keyword, or a topic, or your niche. Okay, there are plenty of things that you can actually target. So it's anything that's been said within Facebook, or anything that they liked, or a fan page that they liked. So if they ever mentioned about, let's say dogs, okay, if they ever mentioned dogs, or like the page that was about dogs, or like the video about dogs, or anything about that, they could be targeted. Okay, so let's say we wanted to target what's something good, like WWE. Okay, so we created a shirt about WWE, and we want to see, okay, can that be targeted on Facebook? So under interest, all you have to do is just type in WWE, and here you can see all the different interests that you can actually target. Okay, so that's exactly how you find out whether it could be targeted. So let's say if I clicked in WWE, you can see that, okay, it's broken down to 10 million to 15 million active users, and that's still a really high audience base. You want to make sure it's under 1 mil, and something between 100,000 to 1 mil, right? Depending on your niche. If you want to target a really specific niche, then above 20,000, 30,000 is a good number to go by. Okay, and obviously, you can add more than just the one interest, and pile it on and see how that goes. Okay, let's see an example of something that's not there. So let's say we did, let's say we want to target, dog backflips. Okay, if you type in dog back, so if we type in dog, there's options that you can actually choose from. As soon as you type in, let's say, backflips, there's nothing there that you can actually choose from. Okay, and if there's nothing there on the drop down, you can't actually target that. So obviously dog backflips is something that you don't want to be teaching your dog anyway, but that's just an example anyway. So if it doesn't appear under this box here, that means you can't actually target them, okay? And so on. So that's how you pretty much use your audience, and you can just go through it, right? So again, so now that we know how you can actually target, you want to pile on that bunch of targets, okay? So WWE, you can actually check out page likes as well, and you can actually see all these different pages that that fit in that category, okay? So maybe you can do Undertaker, Triple H, these are just all your names, and yeah, so you can actually go in that and actually create a shirt for them kind of thing, and go on from there, okay? So that's kind of how you briefly use audience insight. And really for now, we're just really looking into to see whether we can actually target them. So yeah, I mean, that was just step one. I know I went on for quite some time for just step one, but that's how important finding your target audience is, okay? So if your audience is really big, like WWE was really big, right? And there was like, 10 million, you can actually break it down by combining two different interests. So for this example here, I've got dog owner plus running. Okay, so obviously dog owners would be a huge market. It'd be the millions, right? But if you add running to it, it's gonna break that down. Okay, so it's gonna be any two interests that maybe they have to be a dog owner that likes running, and that's gonna really break down your interest. And then from there you can actually create a shirt that's actually targeted to that only. Another great way to actually mixing it up is to combine an interest with a demographic. Okay, so down here I've got the example of a chef. So chefs are going to be a really big market. But if you add it to just wife, so either you can either target a wife being a chef, or you can actually target a wife that is married to a chef. Okay, and that would really kind of be laser targeted to only them, and so and yeah, so it's a lot easier to target, a lot easier to get more sales and profit from it, because it's a smaller audience to actually deal with. Hope you kind of understood that. Okay, next step is actually design ideas. Okay, so how do you actually go about getting design ideas? And really, you got three options here. You can either invent it, so completely come up with a new creative design right off the top of your head. So maybe if you got a really creative brain, then you can, by all means. Another option is to actually model, and I don't actually mean model like a person modeling. I'm actually talking about reverse engineering. So actually go out there and see what's really selling at the moment. So what shirts are doing really well, and then kind of work around that. Okay, like I don't mean to say to copy exactly, but you can do a bit of tweaks, or and really kind of change it up, or you do it within a different niche, but just use what's working at the moment and go from there. Or you can actually draw inspiration. Okay, so what I mean by draw inspiration is like not actually modeling off t-shirts, but maybe stickers, or go through mugs and stuff, because there are other things that use graphical designs as well, not only shirts. And so you can actually go out there and say, okay, what what's really funny, what's really working at the moment for other things besides shirts, and then put it on a shirt. Okay, so that's what I mean by draw inspiration. Okay, and you've got a whole bunch of resources that you can actually use from. Google image is a huge one. I mean, you can pretty much find any kind of image on Google and use it for a shirt. You've got teespring.com/discover, and that pretty much kind of features really shirts that are really doing well at the moment, and so that's a really good place to actually model. Teescover.com is another site that shows you all of the hottest, or pretty much every shirt that's out there on Teespring. Not every shirt, but most shirts. And you can actually see, okay, what's doing really well, and how could I actually use that to my advantage. tview.photograph.com. Photograph, that's exactly the same as Teescover. Amazon and eBay, so, I mean, you can actually check out, offline businesses and see, what kind of things they're selling, and see, and kind of use them as inspiration and model off them. And there are actual websites out there that sell shirt designs, or like actual graphical designs as well. And that's a really great place to actually kind of draw inspiration. Okay, so I'm going to head over to Google Image real quickly. And something that I really like typing is stickers. Okay, Generally, stickers are humorous. You know, they always have that sense of humor behind them. And so if you type in any kind of niche, so let's say fishing stickers, you can see some pretty cool things that you can actually use. So if I'm not fishing, I'm thinking about it. So you can put that on a shirt really easily. Okay, you can say, you know, land's the limit. That's trademark, so I probably wouldn't go there. You know, and just go on, and you can see really cool ideas that you can actually get off. Okay, but then again, you know, just got to be really careful about the trademark, because you know you don't want to start losing all your profit. Okay, but as you can see, you can get a whole bunch of ideas. Okay, and stickers, yeah, you can do that with any kind of niche. So, you know, gaming stickers, you can do that. You can do cooking stickers, and that's probably not the best, but you know, there's that. Another thing I like to type in is funny t-shirts. So, I'll, you know, probably do niche related, but as you can see, you know, you can get some pretty cool ideas as well. And this is to model off. You know, you can actually change it around and see what you can do. Obviously, I wouldn't do Facebook, otherwise you'll never get your ad approved, or you'll probably lose all your profits on your actual Teespring campaign. But you know, Google Image has a wealth of data you can actually use and put it, you know, to good use. Okay, let's see. And yeah, all of this are pretty much similar in a way. Whoop, close the wrong one. Let's go to Teescover. Okay, so Teescover, like I said, it's a place where you'll see all different kind of shirts that are selling on Teespring. Okay, so this is like, it's all compressed all in one website. So as you can see, this is just a homepage. So I haven't actually filtered anything. You actually filter it quite well, and by sorting it. But as you can see all these different kind of designs as well. So, you know, you've got a pet one. I've got zero tolerance for animal abuse. This has sold 24 out of 25. Okay, and they're selling for $21. And you just go through the list and see, okay, which one's selling well. And I don't know how that's selling well, a dog. But yeah, you just go on and kind of see how well they're doing. Okay, what I like to do is actually sort it by, you know, T's sold. So I like to go by 50 plus and go from there. You can always use your search as well and type in a particular niche that you want to check out and see from there. So again, you know, 138 sold. I don't know what this shirt's about. 290. So yeah, and just this is what. Again, you know, a lot of these I don't know how they're selling or what they're kind of targeting. I mean, that's for you to actually work out and yeah, play around with it. Okay, so I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested, so that's probably a Big Bang Theory shirt. You know, you've got a whole bunch of ideas you can actually get from, and then, you know, the list will actually go on and on and on, and you can get some pretty cool ideas. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's pretty much how you use it. The hell is this? 300 sold. And it's just an ice cream. Sometimes, you know, these are like big YouTube channels or someone that's had a really big following already, and they just made a shirt to actually sell to their fans. And so sometimes you'll see shirts like, you know, an ice cream cone, and they sell like heaps, right? And I have no idea why, but that's how it is. So yeah, that's how you use Teescover. The TView is exactly the same thing. Amazon and eBay, you're pretty much just typing in t-shirts and actually looking for them, and then so on. Okay, so you probably heard me say it, you know, plenty of times already. You know, beware of trademarks. Okay, you don't. I mean, if you think that you're kind of borderline trademark, if you're borderline kind of crossing that trademark, I just won't bother with it at all. I mean, it's a waste of time and it's not worth the drama. Okay, and a lot of times, you know, celebrity names, even though they don't have any kind of trademark sign on it, celebrity names are a no go. You know, no go. You know, just don't bother with it. You will cop it. What happens is your shirt will get taken down, and any kind of profit that you made on it, you'll lose it all. Okay, and that goes the same with companies as well, sport teams, anything that you think that is going to be trademarked, just don't bother with it. Okay, unless you're actually going to completely change it. So if you're using a logo, but you completely change the logo by, like, you know, 80%, that's fine. You know, quotes are fine as well, and yeah, and it's just bits and pieces like that, okay? But just don't actually go for like the actual, let's say, a movie name, all right? That's that will get you quick in hot water. Copying other people's design on Teespring is a big no-no as well. As soon as Teespring finds out, the profit's actually going to go to them, to the person that actually created the design, and you're just going to waste all that money on advertising. Okay, so again, worst case scenario, you're going to lose all your earnings, and all that advertising money is going to go straight down the drain. Okay, the next step 3 is campaign setup. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, and it's just trying to set up your Teespring campaigns so that you can start advertising. Okay, and there are a few things that you have to consider, like your pricing, how much you want to price your shirt or your hoodie, your goals, how big of a goal that you're actually trying to achieve before your ships actually get your shirts actually get shipped, or your goal actually gets tipped. And obviously, the higher goal that you set, the more profits that you'll get. But if you're watching this video before the end of the year, so at the moment we're in November, Teespring has a deal going on that it doesn't matter what goal that you set, you'll get the most profit out of it. So at the moment it's fine. You want to set a really low goal anyway, like 5 or 10, and that's fine. That's only because Teespring has that offer going on. But later down the year, so let's say in 2015, the higher goal that you actually set, the more profit you'll get per shirt sale. Okay, and so it's up to you how you want to go about it. Your sales copy is really important as well. You want to actually add tracking and pixels. So here are a few guidelines that I should go by. So when it comes to pricing, I generally like to do my shirts between $18 to $21. Okay, any kind of variation to that is fine. Like $19.99, it's by all means. But I found that anything between 18 to 21 works really well for me. Okay, and that's for t-shirts. For hoodies, I like to go for between 35 and 40. Okay, so hoodies have a lot higher profit margin. So I do try to sell as many hoodies as you can. And at the moment, because winter's coming up in the US, it's a really great place to start selling. Again, goals, it really depends how confident you are. So, hey, if you find a really good design and a really good niche, and that it really sells well, by all means, go for a higher goal. Go for 50, go for 100. It's up to you, but you have to be confident, okay? Because if you don't reach that goal, you're not going to get paid, right? You can request to get your goal dropped, but that you're going to do it once, okay? So, it's really up to you. I like to stick with a lower end goal, and go from there. Okay, so so if you're starting out, stick with 10 or 20 goal for now. Okay, and see how you go. Sales copy. Okay, keep it simple. With your sales copy, this is what your buyers will see, where they'll land as soon as they click on your ad. Okay, so this is the very first page that they'll see. So I generally like to keep it really simple with a call to action. All right, you have to have a call to action. You have to tell your buyers exactly what they need to do to get their shirt. All right. People like to be told what to do. Okay, so if they land on a page and it just says, your shirt name and that's all it says, you will lose conversions. Okay, so keep that in mind. Tracking is really important, and it's really easy to set up within Teespring. They've got a pretty cool tutorial as well, and they use Google Analytics as well. So you need to make a Google Analytics account, put in your tracking ID in there, and you're good to go. With your Facebook pixels, to actually retarget, you need a custom audience. So set that up in your Facebook ad manager. Really easy. For your conversion pixel, make sure you do individual conversion pixels per campaign. Okay, so they have the option to actually have the one conversion pixel for all of your campaigns. You don't want to do that because you want to know which campaign is doing well, right? Even though Facebook's conversion pixels aren't exactly accurate because they don't actually take into account for organic buyers, but at the same time, it's still really important to see a general idea of which one's performing really well. So you want to make sure that you do individual conversion pixels per campaign. All right. Here's just a quick example of one of my sales page. So as you can see at the very top here, you got limited time only, ending November 17th. So that's just pretty much adding some scarcity, and all I did was just put the end campaign date. All right. With your shirt hoodie name, you just got to add in whatever kind of title it is, okay, and your hoodie. So obviously it's I love my wife kind of thing, and that's all I did. with this section here, you know, with the guaranteed safe and secure, that kind of builds trust for your audience, okay, for your buyers. They can see that, you know, it is kind of a professional website, you know, they are secured, and so, you know, they don't have to worry about getting scammed, all right? So that kind of builds trust. Call to action, so click buy now or reserve it now. Sometimes, you know, the button changes, so I like to have the two to pick your size and to pick your size and order as well. So that's just your call to action. I like to put in, you know, buy two to make a gift to someone to save on shipping, because that's you know, that's the deal you get with Teespring. And then I like to remind them the other options as well. So you can actually choose, you know, hoodie, t-shirt, different colors, and that's all down there. I actually made the campaign title as $10 instant discount. But now that not Facebook, Teespring's updated their system, you can actually do a coupon code that pops up to them as soon as they land on this page. So you can actually just leave it as the title of your page, of your hoodie name. So up here, I'd probably love, you know, I'll just put this title up here instead of $10 discount, because, you know, the system has changed, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty good place to actually get started right now. So once you've got all that set up, the next step is to create your ad. All right, and obviously, you know, we'll be creating our ad within Facebook, and so, you know, it's really important that you capture their attention. Okay, so I mean, as you're aware, you know, Facebook can get quite messy, and there's so many heaps of different distractions, and you have to remember that, you know, people use Facebook as a social media platform. They're not there to actually buy stuff. So, you know, they see your ads, your ad would have to really stand out. All right, if they don't stand out, they're not going to click on it. All right, so, you know, to capture their attention, it's mainly on your image. Your image is going to be the main thing that really kind of gets their attention. So make it vibrant, make it bright, and really sell your design. The next part is to actually kind of have a conversation with them, all right? Make them feel like, you know, you're talking to them directly. You know, call them out, you know, depending, because Facebook targeting is insane, right? And let's say if you're targeting nurses, just, you know, talk to them, say, hey, are you a nurse? And then, yeah, and then just continue on with your copy from there. Make sure you add scarcity as well. Scarcity really gets people actually to click on your link. And it's pretty much just telling them, you know, if you don't get this shirt, you're never going to have another chance to get it again, all right? So you're gonna miss out. And if they feel like, you know, they're going to miss out, they're going to have the impulse buy, all right? That's what we're aiming for. You always want to tell them what to do next. Okay, so again, you know, call to action, just tell them exactly what they need to do. And then they have to make sure that you have that trust factor, okay? They have to trust the process. All right, so you have to make them, you have to be congruent all the way through. All right, if any time that, you know, it kind of confuses them, you've lost that buyer. All right, so make sure that it flows nicely. Be congruent from your ad straight to your Teespring sales page. All right, there's no point kind of doing one of those, you know, like I see it a lot of times now where, you know, they show half an image and say, I can't believe these celebrities are doing this. All right, that just doesn't work. All right, people are going to click on the ad, and then they can tell that you kind of like manipulating them to actually click on it, and they're just going to close it straight away. So they have to trust the process, and you have to be congruent. To actually do ads for your newsfeed. So at the moment, you know, if you don't have a fan page, you can't actually create an ad for your newsfeed. Okay, so it's really important that you do create a fan page, and your fan page will need to look trustworthy. Okay, and by that I mean your image and your title. Okay, so I'll give you an example a bit later. Fan pages are also a great way to communicate with your audience. So, you know, it's a bridge between your communication funnel. You know, you can always ask for feedback. You can, you know, ask pretty much ask for anything, right? You know, they're there for you, and you're there for them as well. So it kind of works both ways. You want to make sure that you're building up your fan page with a targeted audience. So I mean, no point getting all these bots and click farms to, you know, build up your fan page, because they're not going to buy from you. It is your asset. It's something that you can, it's like your email list, right? You can sell over and over again. And Chuck's pretty much going to talk to you about, you know, building an email list very in depth. So look out for that. But, you know, with an asset like this, you could always sell multiple shirts over and over again. You know, you're not stuck with the one design. You got many options, and this really works well for evergreen niches. Okay, so generally, if the niche is evergreen, I like to build a fan page first before selling. And it's really important to always keep them active. Okay, so if you only post, once a week, your fan page is going to die out, right? It's really important that you kind of post up 2 to 3 times every single day, just to keep up that engagement, right? And get those reaches out. So that's just little pointers for building a fan page. And then you're probably thinking, okay, there are 2 different actually ad options that you can do. All right, and both got their benefits, pros and cons. Okay, so first one we've got PPE, which stands for page post engagement, and page post engagement pretty much it's like fueling your engagements, right? Like your likes, shares, and comments. All right, you're paying to get likes, shares, and comments, so it's really good for creating massive buzz. So let's say you create a new design, it's good to actually kind of get a grasp of how well your shirt's actually going to be doing. You get heaps of people kind of sending out your traffic, sending out your posts everywhere, and this really works well if you want to put it on you pretty much. How this actually works is, I should probably explain how it works. It's what you're doing is you're actually creating a post within your fan page, and then you're paying to get that fan page exposed, right? Get it sent everywhere. All right, and so it definitely is more friendlier. It doesn't seem like that you're actually trying to sell. It's an awesome way to get viral traffic because as soon as you get all those likes and shares, it's going to go on their Facebook account, and all their friends and family will be able to see it as well. And people it's just going to go kind of skyrocket, right? It's just going to go everywhere, and it works really well if you have a really cool design and people really like it. And it also helps you build your fan page as well. So you'll find that doing these kind of ads, you'll get people actually liking your fan page as well, and that's a little bonus as well. The other end of the spectrum is clicks to website, so CTW. All right, clicks to website, and how this works is you're actually paying for clicks. Okay, so whoever clicks on your ad, that's all you're paying for. All right, so your main focus is getting those clicks and making sure those clicks are laser targeted. Okay. You don't want to waste those clicks because you're paying for them. So this is definitely more controlled. You can adjust on how your click-through rates work, and really adjust your image. It's definitely a lot faster data. You're about to get data straight away ASAP because with PPE you're only getting kind of a feel about engagement, but you're not many people actually clicking onto your website. Right here, you actually get people actually clicking onto your website and finding out whether they kind of buy your shirt or not. You really want to focus on your call to action. So TTAs is just call to action, and really get them to click on your ad if they're laser targeted. All right, so make sure you want to add a price and add a button so that whoever clicks on your ad, they're a potential buyer. All right, that's the main key. And here are a couple of examples. So on the left side here, as you can see, this is a click to website. So you've got the price up here, and you've got a button here. So they know exactly what they're getting into if they click on your ad, right? Whereas over here, it's just it's just released. It's just an image of your design, right? You're selling your design, and so that's what they're gonna see. And then if they like it, they're gonna like your post. They're gonna share it. They're gonna comment, and then and you really create that viral traffic. But the last thing I want to talk about for creating ads is split testing, right? You always want to be split testing. You never really know if your ad's doing really well if you don't split test. Okay, sometimes you'll find that an ad that you think it's not going to work really well out trumps all your other ads. Okay, so always be on the lookout for on ways to actually split test. And what you can actually split test is your images, your ad copy. You can split test some wording around it. There are heaps of things you actually split test. You can split test your targeting as well, so different interests, demographics, a whole bunch of things. Okay, so yeah, make sure you always split test. Then next, step 5 is assessing the data. Okay, so now that you've got your ads up and running, you want to analyze and see which one's doing well. Okay, the ones that aren't doing well, dump it. Get rid of the ad and increase the budget on the ones that are doing well. Okay, if you're unsure about how well your ads are doing, like if it's going to be very similar across the board, leave the ad as it is. All right, so you need to collect more data to actually get a decision on what you want to do with those ads. So I'm just going to get a glass of water. So yeah, so really keep an eye out. Really keep an eye out on your ads, and here are a few set guidelines that I actually look into. Okay, so when it comes to creating ads, these are the guidelines of when I actually decide how well the ad's doing. So if I find that the ads are doing really well, and there's a lot of engagement or a lot of clicks, I check it after 24 hours. So the very next day, I'll look into it and see how well it's doing. All right. If I can't really decide from there, I'll check the budget. Okay, so as soon as it reaches a $30 budget, so I mean these are all different kind of guidelines. You don't have to use all of them together. It's just how you want to go about it. Okay, so if you got a bit of money to spend, you can actually check it after it hits the budget. So after it goes through about $20 or $30, that's when I kind of decide, okay, which ad's doing well, and and what should I go from here? What should I do next? The next set of guidelines is the amount of clicks or impressions. So as soon as I get 100 clicks, I kind of decide, okay, how well is it doing? What's the click-through rate? How much am I spending on these ads, and how many sales am I actually getting? Okay, and that goes with all of them. Or I can see as soon as I get one sale on my Teespring account, I'll go through my ads and see, okay, am I spending more than I am to actually get that sale, or am I on positive ROI? All right, it's not always. I don't always look at the positive ROI as well, especially if I'm doing a page post engagement, because if I find that post gets a lot of engagement, like heaps and heaps of likes and share, but I don't have many sales yet, I kind of let it run, because as soon as it gets closer to the end of the campaign date, that's when all your sales are really going to go in. Okay, so I don't always kill the campaign straight away as soon as I don't get a sale. It really depends on lots of different factors as well. All right, and there's always going to be losers. Okay, so there's no such thing as a perfect winning campaign. I mean, anyone that gets started in Teespring they're going to always tell you're going to have losers. Okay, it's bound to happen. You have to fail before you succeed, right? It's just a few challenges that you have to go through, and I mean that goes, without saying. You can relate. I'm sure you can relate it with any kind of thing, even within life. Okay, so obviously you can't win them all. You can't expect to create your very first campaign and start smashing it straight away. You have to kind of get your feet wet and kind of get a feel for it and say, okay, if you lose in one campaign, you got to find out why it didn't work out. All right, so it doesn't, losing doesn't mean that it's a total loss. It doesn't mean that you've wasted money. It's because we're paying to actually collect data. All right, data that's really important for us in the long haul. So I mean, you can imagine after 10 campaigns, and let's say 9 of them failed, that's a lot of data that you collected. It's either the design didn't do well, it's either your targeting or your niche. Okay, I mean, here's the things you can actually look at and work out, okay, why wasn't it working? All right, and then you want to focus on making it better. All right, and yeah, it's all about experimenting. Okay, so it's like a scientist coming up with a hypothesis, right? They don't expect to kind of find an answer straight away. They do a lot of experimenting. They kind of do little tests and tweaks and always kind of get an answer. Okay, but once they get an answer, that's potential a Nobel Prize. Okay, so having a science background, I mean, that was a bit geeky of me, but that's just how it goes. All right, you always want to be experimenting. You're thinking about it as an experiment. Okay, so you're always going for that one big hit. All right, and that's all it really takes. As soon as you get that one big hit, it's going to cover up pretty much all your losses. All right, and then once you do it once, you know exactly what works, and then all it's a matter is just scaling that winner. So yeah, so don't feel down if you can't get a campaign working, because you will get there. Okay, if you actually look at the data and kind of decide to yourself, how do I make it better, and keep asking yourself that, how can I improve? Why wasn't this campaign working? How do I increase my conversions? And you just keep asking yourself those questions. You'll eventually get there. And then the very last step. All right, step number 6 is the verdict. Okay, and from here you kind of make a decision on what you actually want to go from here onwards. Okay, so you've looked at the data for your ads, and okay, you see that your ads are doing really well. If your ads are doing really well, the next thing to do is to actually scale. Okay, and I don't mean just by increasing the budget. I mean, adding more interest. Okay, if you can find more interest, maybe jump on Google and see, what are related topics. Okay, so a really good place I like to check is Wikipedia. Okay, that's a little gold mine of an area that I like to use. Wikipedia has a whole wealth of information, and they've got a whole bunch of interlinks as well. So if I was in a fishing niche, I'll jump on Wikipedia, type in fishing, and I'll see all of these keywords that I can go back onto Facebook and check to see if there's an interest in for it. And that's how I like to scale. Okay. Another way of scaling is adding more locations. Okay, so if you're doing really well in the United States, you might want to try different countries like Australia, Canada, right? A few other countries and see how well they do. Alright, if all the ads aren't doing well, maybe it's actually time to change your design. You can either kill your design completely and work on the next one, or you can kind of tweak your design and see, okay, and get kind of feedback. All right, so a lot of times you actually get, you'll see in your comments saying, okay, I like this shirt, but I don't like the color. Okay, and then that's where you can actually focus on changing little tweaks to your designs to make it sell better. You want to make a future decision as well. So as soon as your campaign ends, and let's say you tipped, twice as much as your goal, okay, you actually need to decide, okay, do I want to relaunch this? Do I want to change the design? Or you can either target, similar niches with a similar design, all right? And it really depends on the shirt as well, on the design, because sometimes that same design, just changing words around, you can actually target different niches as well. And that's another place where you can actually scale massively. Okay, so yeah, just it's those little things that you kind of have to decide and work from there. All right, so yeah, I really hope you kind of enjoyed this video, this training. I know I've gone on for quite some time now, and I do apologize, but I really hope you got a lot of value out of this video. I mean, it's just one of many trainings that we actually do within Super Affiliate Academy. As you know, Chuck and I, we kind of really focus on getting really valuable information to you as much as we can. We really want to help you out. And look, I honestly recommend you should check out Super Affiliate Academy. You can do it right now for just $1, and you'll get full access to our membership site. So we're not gonna hold anything back for you. Okay, we're gonna have everything out there for 30 days, so you can actually test drive it and see whether you like it. And then after 30 days, that's when we're actually gonna ask for a payment, right? And you can cancel it anytime. What you can actually expect from Super Affiliate Academy is more detailed training on research. So I went a bit about research in this video here, but obviously with the time constraint, I couldn't really go on much, being just the one video. I was trying to kind of rush things, but within Super Affiliate Academy, I kind of go through a complete training for a whole research. So looking for really good gold mine niches and kind of getting really good design ideas and how to actually come up with better ways to create it. I actually go through a quite detailed training on design and outsourcing. So look, maybe you're not quite a designer yourself and you want to tap into outsourcing. I actually help you out with that as well. Maybe if you do have a bit of knowledge with Photoshop, I kind of show you a few tricks to do with that as well. I actually go through in-depth training with Facebook advertising, and this is for both page post engagement and website clicks. I'll show you how to actually split test and optimize all your ads, what kind of things to actually test and actually how to do it. I actually teach you how to increase your sales conversions as well, which is huge, and what you actually do after the campaign ends. Okay, so I mean, I'm not saying that the information you got today wasn't enough. I do believe that if you follow the steps, the simple steps, you'll be able to tip those campaigns. But yeah, within Super Affiliate Academy, I'm talking about getting 200, 300 shirt sales on a consistent basis. Okay, so yeah, again, I really hope you enjoy it. Check it out. Check out Super Affiliate Academy. Like I said, it's only $1. There's absolutely no risk to you whatsoever. I mean, the most you're going to lose is $1. It's like kind of going to a car dealership and test driving out a car, okay? If you like it, then you can buy it. If not, just move on. It's fine. It's cool, you know. There's going to be, a whole bunch of other trainings that, we're going to do for you. And, so look out for that, okay? So, thanks again. This is Andy, and, I'll talk to you soon.